But yeah, staying on the toes, full stretch of the quads, come back up. This is reminiscent of some posing. It's packed as shit here today. And should have kind of known it's Monday. But kind of just making up a workout as I go today. Walked backwards for around 20 minutes. Didn't really come with a plan. Been feeling really tired from the past couple of workouts. So there was the 300 pull-up day. Then there was the backward sled heavy day. And yeah, just pretty much all the workouts in between were pretty taxing. And today, I'm not really sure what I want to do. Right now, I'm just trying to get some blood into my chest and back, and then probably I'll move into the landmine or something like that. But yeah, literally everything in this gym is taken, and there's way too many people here today. I'm not really going to talk too much through form cues right now because, well, quite frankly, I'm not really in the mood for it. And I don't know, chest flies and rows have kind of been explained quite a bit. And I'm not really I'm just trying to get a stretch and a squeeze right now. This is like a part of my warm-up. And I'm kind of gauging the traffic at the gym and where it's going to quiet down. Like, I'm able to be a little bit more freestyle-esque with my workout to where I'm very on the fly, on demand kind of thing. Like, I'm doing the cable machines mostly because it's what's available right now. I didn't really have a plan for doing any of this, but since it's the only thing that's available, I'm going to make the most of it. And yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens next. Pretty much as predicted, going with the landmine. When there's not a whole lot of stuff free at the gym, I know that the landmine's usually open, plus I have my own in the bag. So yeah, anyway, for the first landmine exercise, I'm doing staggered squats. But so yesterday I did a bunch of reverse sled, and I remember making a point that because the reverse sled, even though it's quad dominant and I'm doing a lot of volume of it, since it's a movement that only involves a concentric phase, the recovery from yesterday to today is not going to be much. Like, my quads still feel worked, but it doesn't feel worked to the point where I can't do these squats. I'm going for about 8 each side. I'll after doing 8 each side of that, doing these deadlift to rows on the kettlebell. Going for 5 each side. as I was mentioning earlier, like the workouts over the past couple of days seem to have taken a lot out of me. And so today, my goal is not necessarily to focus on any one thing in particular, but rather use whatever equipment it might be, but to distribute volume more evenly across the body and just kind of get a good pump into every body part. But yeah, this is what I'm doing now. So for the second exercise or second superset, what I'm doing is landmine squats but on my toes. So previously it was staggered on my toes, but now I'm going to switch each side, but just stay regular stance on my toes. Going for 5 each side. Going into some overhead landmine or overhead kettlebell lunges. Working a combination of balance, shoulder stability, and leg strength. And because all these muscle groups are involved at once, your heart rate's going to be going through the roof. Well, mine is at least. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next. So for the next exercise or next superset or whatever, I'm doing hack squats on the landmine. I've been doing this quite regularly over the past week. And by regularly, I mean I think out of the last 8 workouts, I think at least in 3 of them I've done this. Anyway, so leaning back into it, shifting my weight into the landmine, which allows it to come at an angle, and taking a second, press back up. I'm going to play around with the angle, like how far I step away or near the landmine, and see how it feels on my quad. I don't really have any one go-to stance. I just have stances that feel good or not good at any given moment. And I think people do need to take account more of how they feel during a lift rather than just the usual set of instructions that's given, like, oh, narrow stance and then put your legs here and squat this low and get back up. I mean, it's good to have a general idea of what the movement is in that way, but I don't know, as time goes on, as you become like more advanced in lifting, you need to start taking into account like Does a narrow stance really work for you? Or does a wider stance work better? And play around with those kind of things in all your lifts. Like on a shoulder press, do you like Arnold's more, or Arnold presses, or the regular press more? How does it feel? Yeah, take into account how it feels. Just because some bodybuilder told you it hits the anterior delts, maybe you don't feel it. Maybe you don't feel whatever movement they've prescribed in your anterior delt. So play around with the angles, try other exercises. It's not always because they're right and you're wrong or whatever. Maybe your bodies are just different. You need to try different things to hit different areas. But yeah, that's what I'm doing next. For the kettlebell movement on this, I'm doing side to side kettlebell throws. Helps loosen up my shoulder. The reason for picking this movement is my shoulder's been feeling a little tight, and I just want to get that feeling of loosening up my shoulder, which this thing does, because you can't really keep your shoulders tight and move freely while doing this. Yeah, I'm doing about 8 to 10 each side of that, and doing the hack squats with it as my superset. So as I was doing my hack squats, I thought, what if I did them on my toes? So here's what that looks like. Be more careful than I did though while picking the weight up. You don't want to hurt yourself. But yeah, so earlier in the hack squat I had both my feet planted on the floor. But now I'm going to bring my feet closer and have just my toes on the floor. And that's going to exaggerate the stretch that's going to be emphasized on the quads. So, looks like, no, that was bad. I need to lean more further back, but still keep the toes planted. All right, that's better. Yeah, so yeah, this is kind of how you want it. And it's gonna suck. But you're gonna feel a really good stretch and contraction in your quads. Going for 5 each side. And as the sets go on, I keep getting more tired, and I'm not as good at handling the landmine and switching sides or anything. All right. But yeah, staying on the toes, full stretch of the quads, come back up. This is reminiscent of some of the stuff that Tom Platzi would do on a hack squat machine. It almost feels like something like that, where he would do these super exaggerated sissy squats on a hack squat machine. That's kind of what this feels like. I used to think he was crazy when he used to do those things, but now I get it. Yeah, if you're this mobile and strong, try it out. Throwing in some neck training. So having a kettlebell and my iron neck attachment. So wrapping this around the kettlebell, putting these around the side attachments of the iron neck. And so don't let it like sway, like, and really bringing up my neck really slowly, almost like one vertebrae at a time. I'm really feeling a good contraction every step through. Not really, like with neck movements, I don't think it's good to go really heavy. Instead, go light and just kind of move your neck slowly through the exercise. Uh, I'm going for about 10. That was my third set of it. Probably will do a couple more sets of this before I head into the sauna, where I'll do some forearms and stuff in the sauna. But yeah, let's see if there's anything else to record. I don't feel happy with the video yet, so I'll record at least something more.
Did you bring the thing today?
Which thing?
What was that?
Landmine?
No, the circle thing that you walk in circles.
Yeah, it's a landmine, but it's like I keep it on an elevated surface.
Can I use it a bit?
Yeah.
I'm just doing like a couple sets.
Yeah. Yep.
You're gonna be here for a while?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the sauna too.
So I put this end in the plate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so you need 2 plates.
Yeah.
Or just a plate and then the box or something to keep it elevated.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Let's walk around. Let's try it out.
So, recording a little bit of my forearm workout. So I'm holding a kettlebell and I'm going to bring it from side to side slowly. I'm trying to keep all other muscle groups out of the movement and just rotating at the wrist. That should really give a good burn on the forearms. So like the usual common forearm exercises are the wrist curls and reverse wrist curls or whatever. The rotatory aspect of the wrists aren't trained as often, and so I like to take a lot of time to make sure that I'm doing that as well, because it feels like, you know, whenever you're gripping weight, you're essentially training like the forearm flexion of it, or you're doing a dead hang on a pull-up or something, or you're gripping onto weight really hard. You're usually always getting the forearm flexion, so you don't necessarily need to do a lot of forearm curls to activate it in your day-to-day life. But the wrist rotation aspect of it, it doesn't get nearly activated as often throughout a workout as other movements. But yeah, so like whenever I do forearms, I like to focus on like wrist rotations, and also another way you can rotate your wrists is like this. So earlier I was having the kettlebell up, but now if I have it down, there's a different angle at which the forearm muscles have to get activated now to bring that weight up. Ooh. But yeah, I think having really good forearms is a good thing. You want to be able to grip stuff hard. You don't necessarily want to, you know, suck at opening jars. Imagine if someone asked you to open up like a bottle of pickles or something, and you weren't able to open it. Oh, by doing these forearm exercises. So what's the pickle opening? What is the pickle jar opening motion? You hold it and you turn it, right? So how do you mimic that? That's essentially this. So if you get really good at this, you can open pickle jars really well. See, functional training. Forearm functional training. You heard it here first. How to get good at opening pickle jars. So, some posts on posing. Some posts on post-workout posing. Today's been kind of a weird day. Like, I don't know. I've been kind of out of it the entire day. I usually don't eat my first meal till 3 a.m. or 3 p.m. and I ended up actually having like a breakfast today, which is kind of weird for me. I don't know if that has anything to do with anything about why I feel weird. If it was because of a break of pattern or something like that. Or if the reason I wanted to have breakfast in the first place was because I was feeling weird. I don't know. Yeah, not looking too shabby. Those poses in the middle weren't too flattering though, so I apologize for having to put you guys through that, but this is not half bad, is it? It's not nothing. But yeah, this was my kind of random, on the spot, ad hoc workout kind of thing. I mean, that's pretty much all of my workouts. I don't necessarily plan too many of them. I just kind of come in and do whatever feels good. And today I just felt more so that way than other days. Everything was taken, things were busy, and I just kept doing things till I felt tired, and yeah, that was that. Anyway, that's all for today's video. See you tomorrow.